Oh, that was what we wanted. Good night, guys.
Yeah, how do we follow that?
No, we can't.
I think I pulled something. I might have pulled something.
I pulled something watching it. It was.
All right, it's that kind of show, isn't it? Okay. Apologies to the young ones.
You've reached the Sunday afternoon where we're all tired and the Q&As get fast and loose. How's your weekend been?
It's been lovely. It's been really lovely. Thanks to all of you. It's been a joy to be here. It really has. Thanks.
If you have a question for Lou, please throw your hands up anytime throughout the conversation. We've got Tim with a roving mic at the front, so if you want to get your question answered, throw it up and Tim will come and find you. He's just there. So, obviously this is for the love of horror.
Yes.
And you're not really known for a lot of horror. You've done
You haven't read all my reviews, have you?
Oh.
Thank you.
The stuff that you have done has been incredible. There's the film that really stands out to me, and Paul will probably agree, is The First Power.
Yeah. Yeah, I love The First Power. Let me see, what else have I done in the horror? Bats. Route 666. Thing called Fingerprints. Did an episode of, what the hell? The Crypt Keeper dude.
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt. Did one of those, yeah. So yeah, I've done a few.
You've done a few. Yeah. But no, you're known more for your like dramatic work and your.
Yeah, I'm the brooding ethnic. Yeah, I'll either make you cry or I'll stab you. One of the two. It's a bit of a bipolar, career, but
So how's the experience been at a horror convention? Are the horror fans been treating you kindly?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, the thing that I've been very fortunate about, is that I've kind of hit, all the genres. I've done a bunch of sci-fi. I've done, horror. I've done westerns with my friends over there. And thank you. And so it's kind of been a something for everyone kind of career,
Yes, it has.
And I'm often asked which genre I like best, and my answer is always, I love the genre of employment.
Yes.
So,
So there's no way I cannot sit next to Lou Diamond Phillips and ask about the experience of playing Richie Valens in La Bamba. I mean, that was your big breakout role, and I can't even begin to imagine what the pressure must have felt like at such a young age.
Oh, I was scared shitless. Yeah, no, I mean, literally on the third day, I don't play the guitar still. I learned all the chords by rote, including the solos. I got cast the Friday before they started rehearsals on a Monday. I had 1 week to learn 16 songs that had already been recorded by Los Lobos, and met the family to do all the research. I mean, I was literally thrown into the deep end. And on the third day, our executive producer, Taylor Hackford, who's an amazing director in his own right, I have the little thing in the backyard when I'm on the swing and I'm playing to the kids. And he literally says to me, he says, "Kid, you don't knock this out of the park, we're gonna send you back to Texas." So I spent every single day on that show thinking I'm going to get fired. I was...
Was it just all your spare time, just sat there on the guitar?
Exactly. I had a wonderful guy named Jim Fox, who was my guitar instructor. Literally, Louis said, whenever I'm off camera, I better have a Walkman on my head, learning all the songs. Jim Fox was there every single day, so anytime I wasn't acting, I was doing this. And when I went home at night, I was still working. I mean, it was a very, very high-pressure situation. And, now that the strike is over, I realize I can mention one other horror film that I have coming out in the spring with Frank Grillo and Katrina Law. And it's called Werewolves. Guess what it's about? So, yeah, I've got that one coming out in the spring. And it looks pretty damn good, I got to say.
That's very exciting. I do feel like there's not been enough werewolf movies, Paul.
No, I can't think of any.
Oh yeah. Paul wrote the book on American Werewolf in London. That wasn't where I was leading with that. I mean,
Okay.
you don't see werewolves in pop culture as much anymore. I feel like it's a forgotten category.
They're not sexy. Well, depending on who you ask.
I mean, I'm looking right at one.
Well, yeah.
Well, we don't know if I become a werewolf or not.
Oh.
I'm
Spoilers.
the head of the CDC, desperately trying to find a cure.
For werewolfism?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Well, if he is a werewolf, that was sexy.
It was.
Spoilers.
Son of a bitch, I'm in. We will get on to Young Guns, because obviously, a huge movie in your career. But I wanted to ask you first about another movie that you did with Kiefer in the late 80s, Renegades.
Thank you.
Have you guys seen Renegades? How great is that movie? I kind of feel like, because I think Young Guns came out first. Definitely did in the UK. And I kind of felt like Renegades, it became like one of those video store movies over here more than anything. I have an older brother who saw it theatrically and told me all about it. And then when I saw it on video, I watched that more than I watched Young Guns. I absolutely loved it. But what was that like? Because obviously you guys had already established a relationship by this point.
We had done Young Guns together. The producers saw the chemistry. We're like Ken and Barbie, me and Kiefer. He's blonde, so I'll let you imagine who he is. Is he listening? And so they gave us the script to Renegades, and it was like, yeah. And meanwhile, before we finished the first one, it was already testing so well. They put in motion the sequel to Young Guns 2. And what was funny is that Casey Shimashko was running around with history books trying to show the producers. It's like, no, look, Charlie Beaudry doesn't die. He doesn't die. You know. And we played a lot of pranks on each other in the first Young Guns. And so Kiefer and I went on to do Renegades, and our first week of shooting, Emilio came up to visit. And this is why you never want to play pranks on the lead actors in movies, because we can get into your hotel room. Really, all we have to do is go to the front desk and go, my buddy Emilio, I got to pick up his, oh, hi, Mr. Phillips, how are you? And so, yeah, we can get into your hotel room. And I think Emilio had done the last practical joke. So that night when he got to Toronto, Kiefer actually called a butcher and had some bull's balls put on Emilio's pillow. And that was his welcome to Toronto. Showed him how much we missed him and loved him.
So I imagine Kiefer's a little bit of a rabble-rouser then.
What's that?
Kiefer's a little bit of a rabble-rouser. Is he the troublemaker in your group of friends?
No, they're all fucking bastards. No, that's why. I mean, Young Guns was probably the most fun I've ever had on a show, and thank goodness there was no such thing as TMZ or camera phones, because we'd have been screwed. I mean, we would have been in a lot of trouble.
I think that's what the best thing about the 80s was. There's a lot of
shenanigans.
Yeah, there was shenanigans.
We like calling them shenanigans, my generation.
And you can get away with a lot of things. Yeah. We've got a question in another postcode right at the back.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon. Not the most popular movie, but I really like Bats, and I was wondering if you could tell us a bit what it was like working on that set, the practical effects, stuff like that.
Well, so, yes. And I got to say that the director, Luis Morneau, and our cinematographer, George, a Greek name that I can't pronounce, they really elevated that script. I mean, they did an amazing job with that film. We shot in Utah, and at the time, this is, I think, 2000, they still have weird alcohol laws there. Like, you can't have a beer and a shot, which is, you have to have one and then drink it and then like hand it to your friend and then get the shot. It's primitive. So we were shooting splits, and they also have 3-2 beer, which is not even worth it. It just goes straight through you. So that was a hardship, I have to say, shooting in Utah. But there's one scene when the bats come into the town, and it's all CGI. There's only one real live bat in the entire movie, and then the big ones are puppets. But the director, he says, okay, I've given you a full clip. Wherever you shoot, I'm sorry, did the elephant just go through? Oh, no, never mind. He said, wherever you shoot, I'll put a bat, so you'll never miss, don't worry. So we were shooting in Magda, Utah. They had just had the Magda Days parade that day, and they had crowned Miss Magda. And so there was like 500 people standing around at 2 in the morning on the main street of Magda, Utah. And I'm out there. And you can say, roll under the pickup. And the bats are in your hair. Right? And so I finished that. And I felt like in Ed Wood, where Bela Lugosi is, wrestling the big giant octopus. And I get up, and I think I was like 40 years old at the time. And I get up, and I'm breathing hard, and the crowd breaks into applause. And I thought, I'm a grown-ass man, and this is what I do for a living. This is just so crazy.
We've got a question right in the front row.
Hi, Lou. Big fan. Met you yesterday.
Yeah.
And we touched on a possible sequel to the Young Guns.
Yeah.
Just guns, obviously, because we're all getting a bit older.
Old guns. Older but wiser guns.
Exactly. So we had a quick chat about it, and I know there's a lot of other Young Guns fans here. Can you tell them where you're up to with that?
Yes. What I can say is that there is a script. I've read the script. Emilio wrote the script. It's very good. It's very good. John Fusco, the original writer and producer, is involved. I think he was doing a polish. We were all very excited. And then the forward motion kind of got stopped in its tracks by Morgan Creek, the original production company. And I think they want to rebrand it or do something to it. I don't know what the hell they want to do. But for the moment, they are preventing Emilio from moving forward with the film. Emilio wanted to direct it. So we'll see. I have my fingers crossed because I thought he did a wonderful job at bringing some of the characters 20 years after the fact from Young Guns 2. So, it's hopefully we'll see that.
Of course Morgan Creek want to rebrand it, because that worked so well with The Exorcist recently.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Oh, I did not realize. I saw your face light up there. Yikes.
Oh, yeah, we got beef.
I mean...
We've got another question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, hi. Thanks
Hello.
for coming. You mentioned about... Sorry, I'm not loud enough. You mentioned about the pranks and the fun that you had on Young Guns, and they are mine and my husband's favourite films. Can you tell us a little bit more about the fun you had, your most memorable moments whilst filming either film?
There's a lot of stuff I can't talk about because the statute of limitations has not run out yet in New Mexico. Just to give you an example, first day we get on set, we have these lovely FedEx boxes, every one of the cast, from and the return address is 20th Century Fox, and there's a card that says, "Welcome to the set. We really wanted you to know what we think of you." And Emilio had taken cow pies and put all of these in these boxes. So then we knew it's on. Okay, and like a week later, we're shooting on a sheep ranch. And Emilio kept complaining about the fact that he didn't have a girlfriend. He didn't have a girlfriend on this show. Everybody else had a significant other. So I think I gave the rancher $100 to put a sheep into his trailer. And we have a brothel scene in that, if you remember. I had them put on a corset and some garters. And I put a note, Emilio, I'm yours. There's a Polaroid floating around somewhere of him behind the sheep. But yeah, so that was my contribution to the hijinks.
We got a... Oh, near the front. Hi, Liz.
Hi, in Young Guns, in Young Guns, what was it like, and did you do any preparation when you were taking your mushrooms?
As I said, certain laws have not, expired. So I'm going to, tiptoe around that question. No, I didn't. I did not take any hallucinogens or prepare for that matter. I was introduced to Scotch, on the set by Kiefer. So, I just sort of extrapolated from there. But yeah, I mean, as far as like real preparation, yeah, we had a whole week-long cowboy boot camp, learning to ride more. I'm from Texas, so I rode before I got there. But yeah, and then I literally set up a target in my backyard in California to throw knives for a month, and I got pretty good at it actually. Yep.
When I was looking at things you'd been in that we could talk about, I was going through the list of stuff, and I was like, oh, the really obvious stuff, the cool stuff. And then I saw the Aquaman pilot from 2004, was it? They made an Aquaman TV show. It was going to be you, Justin Hartley.
Justin Hartley.
Was it Justin Hartley?
Yeah.
And Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames, yeah.
And they basically made this pilot. It was going to spin off from Smallville, that type of thing.
Yeah.
They tested it. The network went, nope. And they threw it on iTunes for £2. So it was called Mercy Reef.
How was it, by the way?
It was all right. But the problem was, I got to the end of it, and it was like, we're going to have plenty of adventures with Aquaman. Never again.
Yeah, no, it was a real shame.
You were playing his dad?
I played his dad.
Tom Curry, was it?
Yeah, exactly. And Ving Rhames was his mentor protector from Atlantis.
Yep.
So, I thought, how could we miss?
So in the Aquaman movie, that would have been Boba Fett, I can't remember his name, Tamora Morrison, and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
That would be those characters.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a shame. I've never seen it because when it didn't get picked up, it's a little heartbreaking where you go, God. And if it would have been any good, I would have been even more pissed off. Yeah. So that's one I've skipped.
I don't blame you at all. I just thought it was a quirky bit of like the hard work you put in, and then the promise of we're going to do this, and then someone just goes, no.
Yeah, no, it's heartbreaking. And I actually think CW blinked. It was their first season ever as a network, and then I think they figured out how much it was going to cost because there was going to be so much water work. We shot the pilot in Miami. I think they were going to move it to LA, but then do some, Miami, locations during the year. I think they just figured out, oh my, this is going to be more expensive than Smallville or anything we've ever done.
Oh yeah, there's not a chance. Yeah. The water effects, as you said, and then the villains for Aquaman, it would have been insane.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been great, but it logistically never would have worked.
Yeah, yeah.
A little birdie tells me that you've just written a sci-fi novel.
I have. As a matter of fact, I think you guys can get it on Amazon over here. It's called The Tinderbox, Soldier of Indira. It is a sci-fantasy because it is inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's short story, The Tinderbox, which is really a fairy tale. And it all came from my wife is an amazing artist, Yvonne, and she was doing a manga treatment of The Tinderbox back in the mid-'90s. And I saw these panels, and I went, oh my God, this is a movie. I wrote the movie, realized it was too fucking expensive. Nobody was going to give me the money. So then I wrote the novel. And she did all the illustrations. It's done so well that I've completed the sequel. So the Tinderbox Soldier of Indira you can get now. The Tinderbox Underground Movement is coming in the spring, and Yvonne's working on the illustrations now.
That's amazing. Did you always know you could write, or was it something that you've grown into?
No, I started out wanting to be a writer. In high school, I was a writer. I wrote plays. I wrote a really, 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 really bad novel that was like a ripoff of Stephen King. And then in college, I was an English minor, drama major English minor. So the acting thing took off. Yeah. But I've since, and I've done some screenplays. I produced a play that I wrote in Connecticut about 4 years ago. But I've gotten back to the narrative writing, which I really, really love. And I'm still, writing for television and film. It's very much what I consider to be different branches of the same creative tree. And in college, I was writing, I was directing, I was acting. So I'm able to do it now, but on a much bigger, a much bigger scale. And as a director, I've done some really fun stuff lately, doing a lot more TV. I did a Fear the Walking Dead as a director, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Kung Fu, just some really cool stuff.
Working as a director in TV is known to be fairly intense, isn't it? You've got to try and get everything done.
That's what I love about it, though. I mean, having done independent films, that's a year of your life, from the writing it to the getting the money to the production to the post-production, all trying to get it distributed. All of that is quite the undertaking. Television, I love it, man, because you pop in for an 8-day shoot, it's 8-day prep, So about 3 weeks, you're like in and out. And I've gotten to work with budgets that are bigger than anything I ever had as an independent film. You got anywhere from $2 to $3 to $4 million per episode on a television show. You want a crane? They got the crane. You want a Steadicam? They got the Steadicam. And so as a director, it's a great chance to get in and just, practice your craft and hone your craft, but also exercise different muscles. Your leadership skills, your, getting the army moving in one direction, time management, because they're really starting to bear down on the 12-hour days. They're saying, if you can get us out in 11 to an 11 and a half plus lunch, we'll hire you back, So then, it's really about having a vision, going in and executing that, and a chance to work with some really great actors because, television actors and film actors, man, they're interchangeable now. They're moving back and forth.
Well, I was going to stick with the TV thing.
Yeah.
You're dropping into essentially an established cast, an established unit with your own creative style. Is that intimidating, or is that just you go in, get your shit in?
No, it's actually reassuring.
Okay.
Unless you're doing the pilot, which I have not yet done. But you're not reinventing the wheel. You're going in and, hopefully you're familiar with the show, and you go, oh, this is your look, this is your feel, this is your tone, here's your actors. And first and foremost, I think your allegiance is to the script, to the story, to make that work, And then for me, and I like this because the actors see me coming and they're like, oh, somebody's going to take care of us. I've got the actors back.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and create an atmosphere and the potential for them to give their best performances. Do you need another take? Do you need something else? Can I help you get, where you're going? So I think you can come in and put a little bit of a stamp on it. One of the things that has been said to me by either the cinematographer or the producers, I tend to bring a real cinematic feel to it. I paint in bigger pictures, and you can have a really sort of intimate show, and I'll open it up, and they like that. Especially the DPs are like, oh, hey, we're getting some big shots here. We're getting some real production value in some of these frames, And so that's. But I really think the line between, especially with streamers, the line between television and film, the audience wants to see something cinematic. They want to see something big. They don't want to see something that's cheap that looks like 70s TV. Not anymore. They want great effects. They want great cinematography. There's certain TV shows, obviously something like Game of Thrones totally changes the game, and so you can't get away with doing something cheap anymore. And that's actually a lot of fun, because once again, you've got the toys and you go, can you guys do this? All right, let's try this,
It's interesting you said Game of Thrones, because what made me ask that question was Neil Marshall telling me about filming on Game of Thrones and how it was different to TV.
Yeah.
So you've absolutely nailed my next question as well.
Yeah.
Well, one of the shows that you were recently involved in, which I mourn the fact we're not getting any more of, was Prodigal Son.
Well, speaking of actors that go between, you got freaking Michael Sheen, you got Tom Payne, you got Bellamy Young, all these people who go from film to TV and back, and that was just a ridiculously stellar cast. I loved that show. There's a touch of horror there. There's a little bit of Hannibal going on, and it was smart. It was just smart writing, and had a great look to it, So yeah, I mourn the fact that they canceled us. One of their big arguments, which really ticked me off, is like, okay, we want you to make the show during the pandemic. So we make the show during the pandemic, and we do everything we can to uphold the protocols. And then at the end of the season, they go, well, that cost us an extra $20 million. It's like, you wanted a show. That's how much the ticket was to make the show. They go, well, yeah, it's so over budget. It's like, you wanted a show in the pandemic. It's going to cost you $20 million more, And it's like, that's one of the reasons they cancel this. It's like, it will eventually go away and we'll get back to normal, okay? But no, they didn't have enough faith in us, I think.
One of my favorite people in the world was in it, Aurora Perrineau, who I directed her in 2018.
I love Aurora.
And as soon as I saw she was cast in this, I messaged her, do you die in this one?
She is a joy,
She's great.
And Harold's an old buddy, so he literally said to her, I think on the first day, he goes, I know you're okay because, Lou's going to be your stepfather on this one.
We've got a question at the front, what appears to be the reincarnated spirit of Lemmy.
Right.
Love your work, brother.
Right. Excuse me. Right. Did you ever like any rock and roll films? Right. And you was in La Bamba.
I liked that one.
Right. What was your influence in any of music?
I love all kinds of music, and so getting to play Richie was an absolute joy, man. I mean, that was a privilege, and the movie still holds up today. But man, I had a band back in the early '90s, and we were kind of a glorified garage band. But we toured the country. We opened up for a bunch of big acts. But I've been a fan of everything from southern rock to the blues to like Springsteen. But I can get into anything, man. I can even get into hip hop and country. You know what I mean? So I'm just a music lover. Yeah.
Thanks, Lemmy. We got another question in the middle.
Hello, good afternoon, Lou. This is a question for you. I want to know when you was in Longmire, where was it filmed? Because it's absolutely beautiful where it was filmed, and plus with the horses and that. And also, how is Longmire doing? And how is your bar, the Red Pony?
The novels are set in Wyoming, and so but we didn't shoot in Wyoming because they don't have an infrastructure for film. So we shot in Santa Fe, but we never shot close to town where there's Red Rock and all the adobe and all that stuff. We would almost always drive an hour outside of town to get to those big scenic locations. The funny thing is we shot both Young Guns 1 and 2 in Santa Fe, and there were a lot of the same bartenders who were not allowed to tell the stories that I am not allowed to tell either. What's funny is that, and I met some folks who had actually been to the bar called the Mine Shaft, which is in, literally it's in a little town called Madrid, just outside of Santa Fe. And we shot there for the pilot, made that the Red Pony. But then we built that set on stage in Santa Fe. The Red Pony, Walt's office, the sheriff's office, the interior of Walt's cabin, all of that was on the sound stages. I just love that. I mean, we did 6 seasons. We're done, unfortunately. But Craig continues to write the books. So we've all said, and Katie Sackhoff, I freaking love her. We've all said we'd go back and make movies if they decided to do that.
We've only got a couple of minutes left. If there's one more question for Lou. Oh, that was quick.
Hello, Lou. I just wanted to say, I've just had a photo of yourself and Kiefer. I still haven't recovered. I'm still shaking. But Renegades, I absolutely love that film. How was it filming that film?
I loved that film. Are you kidding? It was, first of all, it was me and Kiefer, which, come on. And there's some stories on that one, too. But what was funny is that, Jack Shoulder, the director, was an editor. Not the greatest in people skills, but, he what's that?
He directed Elm Street too.
So but he did some great stuff with the action. But Yeah, man, it was a tough shoot. A lot of night shoots, a lot of stunts, all of that. But what was really fortunate is we had Mickey Gilbert, who did the stunts on the second Young Guns as well. So they just did some really clever, really great stuff. It's interesting. I think it was one that's a bit of a sleeper and probably should have done better. But it's still a really fun buddy action film, and and it holds up.
And I think that is the perfect place to end it. Lou, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
guys.
you, sir.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We are going to get a photo of you.